coming to you live from the City of Angels, Los Angeles, California. It's the Sheena Metal Experience with your host, Sheena Metal.
Hi, and welcome to the Sheena Metal Experience, only on Parapod TV, where you can find us on the Roku channel, iHeartRadio, and everywhere that podcasts are found. I'm your host, Sheena Metal. I'm a psychic medium. I'm an energetic healer. I'm an interfaith pastor. I am a 30-year talk radio host in Los Angeles and beyond. I'm a creative and a performing artist and a paranormal survivor. And I come to you live from my home in Southern California every week with this show that is now 16 years old. Can you believe that? 16 years old and 3 years old, 4 years old in its new incarnation. I can't even believe that. 3, 4, yes, 4 years old in its new incarnation. This show is about spirituality. It's about creativity. It's about humanity. It's about passion. It's about service. It's about really becoming your best you in this big, beautiful world and inspiring others to do the same. And every week on the show, I bring on folks that have lovely hearts and minds and souls, and we talk about all different things in a range of things. My guest today is a wonderfully talented actress and artist and teacher and author, and she is one of my dearest, and we share a love for the furry people. That's what we're going to be talking about today, sort of the wonder of cats. Please welcome my wonderful sister, Susan Olsen, to the show. How are you, my friend?
Hi, I'm good. Thank you. How are you? And Bella's right here.
Yay!
Yes.
So you have captured my bucket list by having not one, but 2 Sphinx cats. I've always wanted a Sphinx. And you have 2 beautiful Sphinx that you rescued. And one is more beautiful than the next.
Well, you know, I do rescue, so the idea of going to a breeder was out of the question. I can't quite call these rescues, but they were given to me by a breeder. So I didn't go to a breeder and buy a cat because that would be breaking all the rules.
Right.
But
I still
wanted
consider
a
them
Sphinx.
rescues. Yeah. Yeah.
I wanted a Sphinx when I was pregnant for my son, and he's 28 now. And I'm totally against breeding, especially breeding for mutations, like not having fur when God gave cats fur, because they kind of need it. But I fell in love with the Sphinx breed, just hook, line, and sinker. And,
well, you know, I collect gargoyles, and I think Sphinx look like gargoyles.
Yes.
That's why I love them. I don't know how long I've collected gargoyles. When I was in my very early 20s, because, you know, I'm a Stephen King nut, my mom bought me a coffee table book that Stephen King had done where he had just gone around the world and photographed gargoyles. I think it was called Dragons in the Sky. Ooh. And I thought, and my mom, you know, was a dragon lady, loved dragons. So from birth, there have been dragons around me. And I thought, oh my God, what are these majestic, beautiful things? And then I learned they were for spiritual protection. I'm like, oh, I have to get, 100 of these. So when I first saw the Sphinx cat, I thought, oh my God, it's a gargoyle. It's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. And it's funny like because yes, when you look at them and then you look at your furred cat, like Cullen, when I feel his head, Cullen, of course, everyone knows is my baby. I can feel the wrinkles. So if Cullen was a Sphinx, he would have been a Sphinx with the wrinkle forehead.
Okay.
Because he has the wrinkles and he has the blue skin.
Oh.
And he has pink birthmarks all over his blue skin.
Huh, like a piebald. I wish Jackie would come back because you could see they do grow fur. There are different types of Sphinxes, and these 2, Bella has like velvet, but Jackie actually grows fur, but it grows like her wrinkles. So just in rows. And it's awesome. Like she's corduroy. So it's really cool. It's really woolly. It feels wonderful. Bella is just as soft as she can be. And but Jackie is so shy. She was in here. And then as soon as she heard another person's voice, whereas
Right.
Bella would be all over you right now. If you were here in person, she would be climbing on you.
Which I would love. But Cullen's the opposite. When Cullen hears a human voice, then the whole camera shot would just be his butthole, because he has to be all up in everything, and then he's knocking the camera with his face. So I only let him do the social media broadcast because I don't have a network that cares if the whole thing just looks like this. And that's what happens when Cullen takes over. It's very exciting when he hears me talking to people. And I also think I think when I do shows, my energy gets elevated. And I think he reads my energy. So he thinks, oh, are we excited? Do we need to be excited about something?
Yeah.
Like if I'm mad, and I try to never be mad around him, but if I'm on the phone with somebody and I'm talking about something that's really making me mad, then he gets mad and he starts knocking things over.
Aww.
So I think that I always say that you make an emotional connection with a dog, but you make a spiritual connection with a cat.
Yeah, I agree. I absolutely agree.
They move in and become part of your soul in a way. They share a piece of your soul.
They're all familiars, whether you want them to be or not.
Exactly. Whether you believe or not, whether you've got your witch ass in gear or not, they are all familiars. No, I completely agree. So as a kid, did you have them or did you have dogs? Because I only had dogs as a kid.
Oh, I had all kinds of things. As a kid, I would say, like, I grew up with dogs. And there was always a cat too.
Okay.
But like I was more aware of the dog because I really thought that the dog should let me use him to learn how to walk, because he was just the right height. I could hold on to him. If he just let me hold on to that tail, he could pull me around the house and I'd get really good at walking, which I still haven't gotten good at. But
because the dog wouldn't help. It's
no, he wouldn't help, and he'd growl at me.
Good at walking.
Yeah, and I was raised in a household where if I went to mom and said, "Oh, Tanek just snapped at me," the first thing out of her mouth would have been, "What did you do to him?"
Right.
And oh, I pulled his tail. Well, I would have snapped at you too. You know, it was always, you have to respect the animals. And like I knew there were cats, and I didn't, I don't know. The dog was more interesting to me, and it wasn't until I was about 8 years old, and my sister got a kitten. And being the fabulous sister that I am, I took the kitten over, and she became my cat. And that was the first time that I made the cat connection. And Tippy was like my soulmate. And this bonding that was so much stronger than anything that I had felt before. And it was also the fact that, we lived in a house where the dogs weren't allowed inside. So you couldn't have the dog sleeping with you, but you could have the cat.
Oh,
and
okay.
Yeah. And Tippy disappeared kind of mysteriously, although we're pretty sure that the dog next door got her and ate her. And that haunted me for years. And
sure. I can't even imagine. I have friends that have lost their animals to coyotes and getting run over in the street. And I cannot, I'm so thankful to say I have never had anything tragic happen to a pet.
Yeah, that's probably as close as I've come, although as we talk, I'll probably remember other things. I just put the bad stuff out of my head. But I would have dreams that Tippy came home. And I didn't have another cat that was mine until I was in high school.
Wow.
And we were at at Topanga Plaza. Anybody from the San Fernando Valley will remember.
Topanga Plaza. It's still there, isn't it? Or did it become?
Yes, it is. It's the Westfield, and it's much more upper crusty.
Oh,
There's
it
no
became
skating
more like
rink anymore.
like how they changed the Galleria, right? Where it's the Sherman Oaks Galleria, where it's all fancy now. It's not it doesn't have Forever 21 and Spencer's Gifts anymore.
Right.
Hot dog on a stick.
Oh gosh, like Finger Hut, but brick and mortar.
Although I went to a mall in Santa Clarita where you live.
Yes.
When I was
There's
speaking at
only
the
one.
Parapod convention 2 years ago, and there was a hot dog on a stick in there.
Oh yes, yeah.
And I got I purchased one, and the limeade was delicious.
You know,
I had a 1970s moment.
I actually got an official hot dog on a stick hat, which makes your head resemble Jiffy Pop.
Oh.
It's very, very, very unflattering, and I'll never forget that hat because I looked like I was 11 months pregnant and wearing overalls and my hot dog on a stick hat because I hadn't washed my hair in a while. And that was the day I met Dave Navarro. I'm like, oh no.
Fantastic.
I look so awful.
Fantastic. Yeah. Hot dog on a stick, or was it corn dog on a stick? It's hot dog on a stick, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So in my band Beer Bong, my first band, my songwriting partner, Paul, who tragically passed last month, he was deathly afraid of microphones. He was my boyfriend at the time. And I said I wanted to start a band. And he said, I'll write songs with you and I'll play, but I'll never do an interview and I'll never speak in front of a microphone. So we made his character a glam rock pirate named Lafitte Licks, who didn't have a tongue. And the story was that the two of us met at working at Hot Dog on a Stick. And we had this mocked up picture. I have to find it. Him still looking like the glam rock pirate, and me in the Sheena outfit looking like Dee Snider from Twisted Sister in Hot Dog on a Stick outfits.
Oh.
And people loved it. And people would come and bring us like hot dog on a stick. You know, there was something so fun and organic about being in a band at that time, because people love to get into the jokes. So they would go find the hot dogs on a stick, which I think is hysterical. And then they would bring us things, and I ate every one of them because I can't resist hot dog on a stick.
And they had good fries too, as I recall.
They had good everything, yeah. And cheese on a stick, and you have one in your town. I'm so jealous.
Yes, and they have the lemonade. I wonder if it's still there. I haven't been to the mall. The mall is like on its last legs. They're going to turn it into housing. It's going to be one of those 15-minute cities. Oh boy.
Yeah, they've done that down here with our mall too. I just think that people don't go into stores like they used to, but yeah, Topanga Plaza, that's fantastic. So
So at Critterville was the pet store, and you could get, they were alley cats. And remember, he was like $5, and I said, Mom, can I please get the little black kitten? Because I wanted a black cat. Yeah. And that's when I got my cashmere.
Nothing witchy about you.
No. Well.
See, I didn't have a cat.
Let's not even talk about my lineage.
That's true. You have the legit lineage. I only know that my lineage goes back one generation, my witch lineage, but yours goes all the way back to the tragedy of Salem.
Yes. Yeah. Before this was even a country. I need to turn on the light.
Do you think there should be a name for the witch trials? Like, you know how the Irish conflict is called the Troubles? Don't you think there should be something that we call that just is a one word, like the tragedy or the hypocrisy or the misogyny? There should be a name for it, I think, that we can just name it with one word and everyone knows what it is.
Yeah. The ass hattery.
The ass hattery. Exactly. Yes, exactly.
Because I was trying to explain to somebody why I have such an aversion to religion. I'm like, hey, it's in my DNA.
Yeah.
Because it was the church that, hello? That's my cat horking up something. The very mention of the trials.
A fur ball is getting coughed up live on the Sheena Metal Experience for the first time.
From a hairless cat, no less.
Nice. We don't even know somebody else's hair. Probably yours.
Yes. Oh, hold that thought. I have a funny hair story. It just that it was the church that was coming after these people, and I'm just a little ticked off. I actually found a Facebook page for descendants of Martha Carrier. And I said,
that's your great
that's my,
aunt?
yes, my 7th generation grandmother.
Right. Oh, grandmother.
And,
okay.
yes, direct descendant. I am
and she
related.
did die, right? She was murdered?
Yeah, she was hanged. Technically, it's actually hanged and not hung in August. And the thing is, she wasn't in Arthur Miller's The Crucible. And I don't know why he passed her over, because she was accused of being the ringleader. She was the head of all the witches, according to Cotton Mather.
Okay.
And he labeled her the Queen of Hell.
Okay.
And everybody that was indicted after her named her to try to get off. And I've got some info on that Martha Carrier. Why, I saw her, and she was accused of turning into a black cat.
Oh, see, the irony never stops with your family.
Yep. And
this was your mother's side, right? This was your mother's side?
My mother's side. My father's side, it's like straight off the boat, Norwegian, Viking. Of course, with DNA tests now, we found out that the bloodline wasn't quite so pure on Grandma's side, because she's like all of the Viking breeds. But Grandpa was like 100% Norwegian.
Okay.
Yeah.
Grandma went to different camps.
Yes. Her family got around
the Viking
more.
Villages. The travelers.
But nothing fun and exciting. Nothing with any pigment in it.
Right. Just a lot of Viking. She just like her type was Viking. Any Viking.
Yep. Any Viking in a storm.
Now, have you studied? So many questions. I know I'm skipping around. Have you studied your? Because I know you've studied your Celtic spirituality as far as pre-Judeo-Christian spirituality. Have you ever studied what the Viking spirituality was like? Because I would imagine that they probably had an equivalent of what we call modern day witches as well.
Yes, in fact, it's very close to the Celtic. A lot of the same runes. I just say I think the Celts were better artists.
Yes.
The Celts they were more refined. In fact, my son just asked me for some borders for some decorative art, Viking style. He said, but a lot like that Celtic rope and vine stuff, and that's so pretty. And there was a bit of that to the Viking art, but it was just a little more crude. I think
it was a little more. The shapes were more angular, whereas in Celtic art the shapes are rounder. I have this picture, and I'm going to send it to you. I've got it on my laptop, and I'm going to send it to you. That I always wanted to get as a tattoo, and it's a Celtic drawing of how the Celts depicted some of the very first cats that the Romans brought over, because there weren't cats in Ireland until the Romans invaded and brought them. So it's an ancient Celtic drawing of a cat's head.
Wow.
With like the Celtic knotting around it. I always thought it would make the most wicked tattoo.
It would. No, that sounds great.
Interesting to see how the ancient Celts saw the first cats that they ever saw. And the energy coming out of the image, it's just like how you feel looking at a cat now. It's the same kind of spiritual, light-filled, intense. Do you know what I mean? Because when I see Cullen, and all cats are different. And Cullen, not all, I mean, I've had a soul connection really with 4 of my 6 cats. And nothing like Cullen. I mean, I thought nothing like Molly until I had Cullen. Nothing like Cullen. But all cats, I think there's this, you almost can see their aura, right? There's like a glow around their little heads.
Yeah, and I was thinking when you're talking about the first cats of Ireland, that it's interesting that I believe that every society the cats were introduced into, they took on a godlike status, whether it was positive or in some cultures it was negative. They were believed to be evil.
Right.
My students, I teach acting for children, and I have a filmmaking class for children, and we come up with some very bizarre ideas and some pretty rotten little films. But currently we're working on a film where the girl's father has sent her a necklace, and she becomes possessed by the Egyptian goddess Bastet, the goddess of cats.
I have them all over my office in here. I have an Ascended Master cabinet right over here, and I have so many Bastets in there.
Well, the idea actually came from one of the students who's been in my class before, and she said, "And you have the perfect cat for it."
Yes, yes.
And so
Bella.
my little Bellatrix is going to play Bastet, and I'm actually I'm not going to take her into class. I'm going to take her to work with the green screen, because that's easier to set than setting up another one here at home.
Yes.
And she's so friendly, and she already loves my boss. And I don't know how she's going to act. Have no clue.
You don't know she has any talent yet. We're not sure she has talent.
You know, this isn't her first film.
Oh.
I cast her before. She played the children were animal rescuers, and they were going to labs and getting the animals before they were experimented on. And my dear little Bella, there's one of the characters. He's got pictures of his beautiful long-haired black cat, and he's got to find her. And Bella plays her, but they got to her just a little too late.
Oh,
I'm such a bad mom. So I cast Bella as the cat that had already been experimented on. Because
did she have special effects makeup of some sort on?
No, she's just her. She's hairless with all these wrinkles. So she was involved in some shampoo experiments.
Oh my God. They gave her an aging cream. Because every Sphinx looks like they're 100.
Well, yeah. But now with this, for playing Bastet, Bella does have this very Egyptian goddess build to her with the big ears.
Yes, she does. Yes, she has the ears. Yes.
Yes. So she is going to play Bastet, and I made a little necklace for her, and I wish Jackie wasn't so afraid, because I'd love for you to see her. She
would look experimented on too. She could have been that cat. Yeah.
You know, my sister's taken pictures of Jackie to work, and you know, everybody says to me, "Oh, she's so beautiful."
She is. She's darling, but she also is darling, but she looks like one of those ads that we see where beautiful women that have scars take pictures of their scars. She's beautiful, but she looks like she's been through a battle.
She looks like an ASPCA.
Exactly. She's the Sarah McLachlan themed cat. Yes, 100%.
Because she's got a wonky eye.
Yeah.
Because she's the sole survivor of her litter. And they all got Khaleesi virus. And so her eye is still a little screwed up. And she's, you know, like a pinto. She's got markings. And then she grows this odd fur. Only during the winter time. That's in rows.
Yeah.
And it's coming off now. So she looks like she's molting. She's really attractive.
Fantastic. Yeah. Well, you know, and
with
Cullen
a darling personality.
I need to take Cullen to the vet. I have not had him diagnosed, but I believe that since he was a baby, that he has what they call feline alopecia.
Oh.
So when he gets stressed out about something, he'll get like a little bald patch somewhere.
Oh.
And, you know, he was very close to Paul. They were very, very close. And he had a very hard time when Paul died, because cats know, right? And also spirits come and visit cats. So he was, Paul has been very present in the house since he passed. Even though he passed at my other house, he's been very present at this house. And in the beginning kind of poltergeisty, where there were knocks on the wall and things were falling over. And, I ward this house so that doesn't happen. I finally had to tell him, like, sweetheart, you can come visit, but we got to stop with the poltergeisty because I'm getting freaked out and Cullen's getting freaked out. But after Paul died, Cullen lost fur in 4 spots on him.
Oh.
He lost both eyebrows, and then a spot on his neck and a spot on his shoulder. He's never lost that much. And it's starting to grow back now, but he had a really hard time after Paul died. And not even being in a room with the body, or it doesn't matter. Like, they just know. Like, if we were that in tune and we just knew things, we have so much catching up to do to get to where they are.
Yeah, I agree. And my Kimberly, I used to say that because she'd come very close to death. Right. And I used to explain it to my son because she's his cat. I'd say, well, she came so close, she must have seen the other side and she can still see it. Because she'd just do these weird things where, she'd just be sitting there and just start meowing at something that we couldn't see.
Right.
And I'll be darned, Jackie's doing that now. And it's getting to be a problem because I go to bed and my sister's still staying with me. And so, and Jackie loves my sister.
Oh, that's
and
so
we'll go
sweet.
to bed. Yeah, but she expresses her love by biting her. So it's not so great.
They do that. Sometimes Cullen bites my feet in the middle of the night.
Jackie's
and he thinks it's so wonderful. He doesn't understand why I have a problem with it.
Oh, that's the only time Jackie purrs. Like, I never heard, she doesn't purr. You pet her and she doesn't purr. But she purrs like mad when she's biting.
Right,
because she enjoys it. But she's been sitting next to the stairs and just which is weird in itself because she sounds like a normal cat.
Right.
And usually she sounds like a kitten. She has this little kitten meow.
Right.
But she's been doing this. It's like right when we're going to bed, you're like, you want to sleep, and she's going off like this. And it's the way Kimberly used to do it. And we have been having issues with a fan that keeps turning on, and sometimes the light goes on.
Little poltergeisty activities happening there too.
Yeah, and I would say, oh, it's just faulty electricity. But my sister thinks it could be her deceased husband.
Oh.
And on his birthday, she said, she was in the bathroom. She said, oh, I forgot to tell you happy birthday this morning. And happy birthday. I love you and I miss you. And then walks out and the fan's going.
Oh,
so we're like, well, let me prove it. I'm sorry. I've got this weird tickle.
Yeah. With it. It's funny how they come to visit. And they do, especially if they think they've done something. Like, I think Paul feels embarrassed that he died in my home like that.
Oh.
And so sometimes he'll say, like, he lays on my couch a lot. It's so weird, which is what he did when he would come visit. He'd lay on the couch the whole time and talk about, like, sometimes be sad about it, that I'm having to handle all of his end of life affairs, but then sometimes make jokes about it. Like, when the medical examiner's office was going to send me all of his stuff, he said, are they going to send you my underpants and will you have to wash them?
That was right when my mind went.
So then when they came, I was scared to open them. I'm like, are these going to have like dead guys underpants in here? But it was just his phone and his keys and his credit cards and stuff. It was there was no like dead person's anything. But, so Cullen's gotten used to it. And now I think he likes it. And he sits so Paul would lay on the length of the couch and Cullen would sit on the armrest and fall asleep. And they take naps together. So he sleeps there a lot. And I think he's just, I think it takes them a while. Like when my mom died, Molly had never seen my mom because by the time I got Molly, my mom's knees had gotten so bad she couldn't do the stairs.
Oh.
So when I first came back to the house, Molly was freaked out because I think my mom was visiting and she didn't know who she was.
Oh.
But then after a couple days, she calmed down, and then she was fine. So I think now Cullen's calmed down and gotten used to him being here.
Yeah.
And it's more of a, I think they make peace with it even much better than we do. Once they understand what's happening. I think dogs too.
It's strange because there are so many ways where they're more advanced than we are. Yeah. And yet, there's also just the plain old simple, maybe they have the intellect of a 2-year-old,
Yes.
We really can't compare because it's such a different kind of intellect, but there is that childlike thing about them where no, they don't really know what a car is, or but they'll seem so advanced in so many ways.
Yeah.
Especially cats, because cats are just, they're so sweet. And there's a line in my script for this little movie that we're making where the ghost of the cat next door comes through as well. Right. And she says, we are all gods and goddesses. Every cat is.
Right. Yes.
I believe that.
Yeah, I know, I do too. And I think that it's amazing to me the connection that they can make and what they can comprehend and how intelligent they are. I'm endlessly fascinated by how bright Cullen is. Cullen this month because I had the flu this month. Paul died. Somebody who was very dear to me died in December. So Cullen this month has been nurse Cullen, caregiver Cullen, grief counselor Cullen. And I mean, he's just so good at everything. He knows when you want to hug. You know what I mean? He knows when you need, like, sometimes he'll just be sitting. He'll come and he'll sit in front of me. So he's like sitting, like I'm sitting on the bed and like cross-legged, and he'll come and sit in the little gap there and face me. Yeah. And then he'll just take his little paw and stick it open, like right on my mouth. And I'm like, oh my lips are touching the beans right now. Oh, and they're so soft. And he reaches up with the beans, like all spread out like this, and then touches my mouth with the beans. It's just the sweetest thing. And then sometimes he just crawls right up, puts his arms around me, and he wants me to support him like a baby, from the bottom. And we support, and then he just looks at me and just gives me all these kisses and the sweetest face, and he just hugs me. So, I mean, how can that not become your best friend, that being? I saw this wonderful meme that said, cats are so interesting because they live in your house and you've never had an actual conversation with words, yet they're absolutely your best friend. And I think that's so true. They just instantly become your best friend.
My Cashmere, as you know, I get migraines, and Cashmere, the cat that I got at Topanga Plaza at Critterville, he lived with me until I got married. Grew up. And he would come in, and I actually had a couple of times I went, oh no, I'm going to get a migraine, like he knew before I knew.
Yes, right.
And oh boy, he loved my husband, but there was such if we got in a fight or something and Steve left, Cashmere would come up and get wherever Steve had been sitting and be like, that's my job. This is my place. I'm your man.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah, yes. Yes. Luckily, mine's not territorial like that, but he is, he's very concerned about who comes in the house and what they're changing. He definitely knows the house and everything in the house is his because, I just remodeled my upstairs in the fall. And I have my contractors crew and my helpers that, young people that do things that old fat ladies can't do, coming in and helping me, like, do things and carry things up the stairs. And he inspects everything. Like, he wants to know, what are you doing in my house and what's happening? Yeah. And he follows when my contractor comes and sits at the dining room table with me, and he keeps everything longhand in like a composition book. And Pablo opens up his book, and Cullen goes and lays on top of the book and goes to sleep.
Oh.
And he was so great. And I got to tell you, Pablo's crew, 4, 5, 6 guys, every one of them, because they did the first half of the work while I was in Palm Springs, because I didn't want Cullen here for all the banging and the crashing.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second half we were here, and they just had the area that we were living in was closed off with doors and cheap plastic. And they would come in the beginning, we were sharing a bathroom because they were redoing the upstairs bathrooms. And they would come in every day and say hi to him. He'd be up in his cat tree and they'd be like, "Hi, Cullen." And he just loved every one of them. And boy, does it make a difference when your cat likes who's in your home.
Yeah.
Because if your cat does not like people in your home, we got a problem.
Oh, Bella's boy crazy. Bella, she keeps saying, "Why won't you date?" Because she wants a man around. She loves men.
Yeah.
Electrician comes over, it's like, she's very nice, but could you take her and put her somewhere? Because I'm afraid she'll get hurt. I can't get anything done. I mean, she's just like all over.
Yeah.
Electrician, plumber, anybody. She's just loves men. And then Jackie's
like that too. Mm-hmm. He helped the dryer guy came out and he helped him fix the dryer. He helped my best friend's husband install the dishwasher.
And they're being so helpful.
I know. He's helped every single contractor do every bit. He helped somebody put the shower doors on just recently. When my helper Sam, when she comes to do things, and she like puts together furniture and does stuff, like he gets up high on this curio cabinet in the bedroom and he just looks down at her like, "I'm watching everything you do because don't steal anything from my house."
Exactly. Yes, I was to say, make sure nothing's stolen.
Take anything. And when people come over, sometimes he'll go everywhere because I have a lot of stuff around the house.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have like Buddhas and crystals and Ganesh and Bastet. And he'll go around and like show everybody everything. I think he thinks it's all his stuff. This is my Buddha and this is my Bastet. I put her head in my mouth and this is I had to put her behind glass because I have a whole bunch of them. And Colin was like, "Every one of these needs to go in my mouth." And I'm like, no. We need to get curio cabinets for you, mister.
Oh.
Crystal balls. He wants to knock them on the ground and chase them.
Well, because you can bat them around. Well, come on, think about it from his point of view. Yeah. Why does she have this perfectly great ball?
I know.
A ball is a toy, Sheena.
Exactly. Why
does she have this on a shelf?
Filled with balls on stands. I should be playing with these balls.
On stands, not letting a ball be free.
And he loves those little pom-pom balls.
That's Jackie's favorite.
I throw them out to him and then I never see them again. And one time, Sam was putting some things on the wall and she had to move the little like an antique nightstand that I adopted in my family room that I use like a little altar. And she's like, "Are you okay if I pick this up and move it?" And I said, "Yeah, no problem." And she's like, "Would you come over and look at this?" So you figure this is like a 14 by 14 nightstand. There were probably 75 pom-pom balls.
That's rare.
And I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to have to tell the contractors when they come to do the downstairs, when you lift up the furniture, just collect all the balls and put them in a bag for me. Because how many are under the couch? How many are under the lawn dressers?
Yeah.
Every once in a while, he'll go under the dresser, which is probably about 3 inches. How he gets under there. And I see him scooching on his belly and I see his little back feet are flailed out of the back. And he'll scooch in like he's a splunker. And then he'll scooch out and he's got a ball. I'm like, oh, he went to his private reserve to get one of his little balls.
I think because, as you know, I did rescue and I had foster kittens and I raised 64 foster kittens.
Wow.
And I've owned
nice.
11 cats. So I guess that's like 75 cats in my life.
Wow.
And one of the most endearing things, I mean, it's not that spectacular. Your viewers might go, so. But to me, it was so endearing. It made me cry. Little Jackie was last year at Christmas time, so she was still a baby. And I was, packing up the Christmas stuff, and I was getting the Christmas tree skirt, and hidden under the skirt was this little pile of things that Jackie thought were valuable. They were special things to her. Yeah. And there was a stick that came from outside, must have, from my shoe. There was a bottle cap. There was a packing peanut. And a toy, not a favorite toy, but just a toy. And what's the other? Oh, paperclip.
Oh, treasures.
This little
all
pile
treasures.
of Jackie's treasures.
Oh.
And I just thought that was so adorable.
With this little guy.
Hide them from Bella.
Yep. I had a
cat. I especially love the stick. Oh, there's a stick.
I had a cat, Seamus, and all mine were rescues, right? And Cullen, I've had since I was 3 days, and Molly was she was a Petco rescue. So they were at least taken care of by people. But the first 4, I literally got off the street. Wow. And Seamus had belonged to a neighbor who then got a dog and a baby and just shut him out and stopped feeding him. Oh. And so he was starving when I got him. And my mom came over. So at that time I had Seamus, Megan, and Aaron. My mom came over, and she thought it would be really fun to cook jumbo shrimp for them. I don't know. My mom was a shrimp cocktail whore, so she thought they would love jumbo shrimp. So she gave them each a shrimp, and Aaron ate hers, and Megan ate hers, and Seamus took his, and he pulled up a piece of the carpet, and he stuck it underneath the carpet to save for later. And my mom being an orphan herself, a rescue herself, who nearly starved to death a couple times as a child. I think that's one of the only times in my life I ever saw my mom cry was when she saw Seamus try to hide that shrimp for later. So she made him another one, so he knew he had one he could eat, and then he had one for later. But obviously we couldn't keep for later there for very long because it was a shrimp.
Well, at least you knew. I knew a couple of guys that had this trick that they would do for housewarming parties. And they would and they did this a couple of times, back when people had drapes, and the drapes would have a hem. Yeah. And they would put shrimp in the hem. Oh. So it would rot. And they said shrimp had a very special smell.
Yeah, shrimp is really nasty.
Disgusting.
Really
so
nasty.
It's a good thing. Good thing you knew that it was under the carpet.
Yeah. They all have the sweetest little personalities. And they reincarnate. I know that Molly was Aaron. And I thought when a little boy came that it was going to be Seamus because we were so close. Liam was my little troubled boy that had horrible anxiety problems and sprayed everywhere. And everybody always told me to put him to sleep. So when Cullen came, I was very surprised that he was Liam.
Jackie.
And he's so much like Liam, but without all the anxiety, because what anxiety do you have when someone's loved you since you were 3 days old? I always say, okay, Cullen, the first 3 days were the hardest.
Oh.
But I think that because they are familiars, do you believe that? They recycle. They come back. They reincarnate and come back.
I'm thinking Jackie could, I don't know that, I think that other pets, I'm thinking that Kimberly might be coming in through Jackie. Okay. Not that Kimberly is Jackie, but this meowing thing, she was just doing it. She was out there doing her meow, and I thought, come on, baby, come in here, honey. I want to show your fur off. She's like, no.
I won't be on camera.
Just gonna say I'm a freak.
I'm a behind the scenes girl. Don't make me be on camera. Jackie, we love you. Everybody's just gonna say you're beautiful here, sweetheart. You're loved.
Come here. Her fur is just so unusual, and then you can see what she's done to her tail. The tip of it, it's just like a shoelace. She's chewed all the fur off the end of it. She's constantly biting her tail and battling with her tail. But I know I have a friend who says that her dog has come back through her current dog.
Oh, I think that 100% happens because they come to take care of us. I think animals come here to care for us. So they think, oh God, I got to go back and care for that one again. She's got problems.
Yeah, and I used to, like, I remember when Kashmir passed, unfortunately, I had to, you know,
Sure.
cause his death day. I don't know. I'll never be okay with putting anything to sleep just because you're playing God.
Yeah. But the suffering. I would like you to put me to sleep if I was suffering.
Well,
please.
Yeah, same here.
Please come
same
and put me
here.
to sleep.
Yeah. But I let him know, because I had a friend at the time who said, well, you can keep him around. You get another cat. You can keep him as your familiar. I'm like, no. He was such a special boy. I'm sure God has a better use for him. He could come back as a person. Yeah. He's so smart. So I'm like, honey, don't feel like you have to stick around. Move forward. But I don't know what they do. I only know that I'm not going to believe in any religion that claims that they don't have souls, which is all of them. I think.
No, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, I think, not to get religious, but as I am a Christian pastor, but progressive Christian, teachings of Christ Christian. Teachings of Christ is very different than what has been done in Christ's name.
You got that right. Yeah.
So many religions, so many indoctrinated religions founded by humans are all about how humans get everything and everybody else gets nothing, which really benefits humans, but doesn't really benefit the hundreds of thousands of other species that exist on the earth.
Right. Or there's this belief that, well, there's only one brand. Only one brand of religion. Without that for you, it's
I mean,
if
God,
the hellfires.
If God, I think the way that some religions that shall not be named use the idea of humans having dominion over animals, I don't think they use it in the proper way. I do think, I think that God made us all stewards of each other. Like, we're supposed to take care of the animals. They're supposed to take care of us. All the creatures of the earth are supposed to take care of each other. But I think to make it seem like, well, God gave me the power over these animals so I can just do whatever I want to them. That's a human twisted idea. That's not a universal concept,
Well, and I believe that what was meant by that was they're your responsibility. I agree.
100%. Yeah.
And that doesn't mean, I'm one of because I'm around a lot of rescuers in the animal community. I eat them. I
do
eat
too.
meat.
I do too.
I don't.
I'm not thrilled about it, but I do it.
Well, I do go to the lengths of getting it from ethically sourced.
Sure.
Because I hate factory farming of any kind. I think it's cruel to plants. Like organic, done to me, okay, my God is nature. And being outdoors, being around animals, that's my church. And so the way plants grow and nourish us, that's a miracle.
Yeah.
And I do believe that we're supposed to eat them, but if I had to kill them myself, I'd never eat another one. But I make sure to get them from small farms, ethically sourced. The one company says, from cows that only had one bad day.
I didn't even like, as a kid, we always had a garden. I didn't like pulling things out of the garden.
Oh.
I thought that felt weird. Like, we're just going to rip this carrot out of the ground. Well, what does it think of that?
Do you know, for a while they were saying that carrots screamed when they were picked?
Oh my God.
Yeah, this was during the whole Secret Life of Plants, when that book was really popular. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think they're screaming.
I think, unfortunately, eating each other is part of our survival, but I'm not happy about it. But if any plant or animal wants to eat me, they're really welcome to. So.
Well, I know. Really? I think that'd be a terrible way to go.
Well, I would prefer I would prefer that it was after I was already dead.
There you go.
But I remember when I first met Paul and I was 24 and he was 23. He used to always say, like, I should just swim into the ocean. Let a shark eat me. That's a good death. Or I should let a tiger eat me. That's a good death. So I think he's probably terribly disappointed that he died of a heart attack in a chair in my office. Because
I could arrange to feed him. Well, I'm sure he's been cremated.
He wanted a good death. So yeah, he thought
but it wouldn't be good. It would be very miserable while it was happening. Better a good burial, like I always wanted, and it's it's cliche. It's a line from the movie Foxes. My dear friend Cherie Curry.
Right. Yes.
She was playing the character Annie. She wanted to be buried under an apple tree, and somebody come along and say, Annie's tasting good this year.
I love that.
Yeah. Yep. I'd like something like that so that my, on the tombstone would be eat me. Just, go back to the earth, fertilize the soil, make some great, fruit trees very happy.
Go back where one of my plans is to take some of my mom's ashes and some of Paul's. When I redo my backyard and replant everything, I'm going to put them in the soil.
That's what I was going to do with my dad. My dad was very, his favorite flowers were daffodils. And I had a bulb garden at my home. And so I was going to put Dad in with the daffodils because they like ash anyway.
Love it.
And but I had the feeling I was going to be moving. I realized I was in over my head with this house. I thought, no, I can't put Dad there because I don't think I'm going to have this daffodil garden much longer.
Yeah. I think I've decided that this is my forever home. I know I always said someday I might sell it and move to the water. But I mean, I'm so close to the water anyhow, it would just be moved to the marina where my front yard, and that might happen. But I really believe that I'm going to I'm really loving it here. So I think I'm going to make the commitment of putting my loved ones in the soil. And maybe some of the cat's ashes too. Like maybe a little bit of, and my mom's dogs, like a little bit of everybody's ashes. And then just have this big, beautiful succulent garden and know that my loved ones are feeding it.
Yes. Yes.
I love that.
I'm still probably in this room. I still have, I have a few cats in boxes.
Yeah, me too. I have I've got a curio cabinet in the hall that has everybody's little cedar boxes. I love and adore you. I'm sorry we're out of time. Let's do this again soon. I would love it.
Yes. Wait, you can hear Jackie doing her other trick. Okay, now she's not. She slams the cupboard doors to let me know she's hungry.
She's looking for something. Do you have something for her in there? She'd like something.
Yeah, she knows I keep the food there, but mainly get in here. Get in here, Mom.
You're the best, my friend. I love you.
You're the best. I love you.
Is there a place where people can find out about what you're doing anywhere? Or
I'm not doing anything important.
All right, but you're changing kids' lives every day. That's so important.
Okay, yes, I do. I do work at Vibe Performing Arts in Santa Clarita, California.
Beautiful, and conveniently located near Hot Dog on a Stick. Thank you to my wonderful friend, Susan Olsen. I love you, my friend, for being a part of the show. And thank you all for watching. Thank you to Parapod TV for making us part of your family. Thank you to my wonderful engineer and producer, Emery. You're the wind beneath my wings, buddy. You can find me at SheenaMetalSpiritual.com and everywhere on social media, just at Sheena Metal. Until I see you next time, seek peace, live in love, lead with kindness, embrace unity, always work to raise your vibration, and know most importantly that you are loved and you are loved and you're loved by me. I'm Sheena Metal. This is the Sheena Metal Experience. And you know what? We'll see you next week. Take care.
Mm-hmm.